Hello and welcome back to another BeamNG video, and this is a big one. They released an update that sort of updated the sounds big time. And here I am, and I'm going to review the sounds and tell you what I think of them, what cars I think they fit best on, and where they could improve. So let's get on with it. So the first engine they updated was the Inline 4 engine. The Inline 4 is featured on many different cars like the Legrand, the Corvette, the K-Series, Miramar, you name it. I feel like what they were going for was a sort of late 90s, actually just generally in the 90s feel. It fits best on the cars like the Corvette or the Pessima, where these cars just feel weak, and they are weak to be honest. I don't think it fits very modern cars and old cars. Like it doesn't, it's so out of place on the K-Series, for example. You would expect a sort of modern inline 4 to be a bit better sounding, and like for say a Miramar, the Miramar could have sounded a little bit older or something, but you never know, that could always change in the future. Overall the sound is pretty good, but I guess it could be better. Next we have the Inline 6, which is featured on the ETK 800, the K-Series, even the I-Series, a Moonhawk, and even the T-Series, surprisingly. I actually really like the noise of the engine. It sounds a bit more aggressive, more old on the old cars like the Moonhawk and Barstow, but it feels more like a proper, more performance engine on the newer cars. So I think it fits both. It doesn't really fit on the big vehicles like the Roamer, and especially not the T-Series. It sounds, they need to do something about that. It definitely doesn't sound like it should be on the T-Series. Overall, I think it's a good sounding engine. They just need to make it sound more like a bigger, more sort of utility engine on the bigger vehicles instead of a sporty engine. Next we have the V6, which is only featured on two cars I believe, the new Pessima and the Legrand. So this engine, this sounds great, I think. It sounds pretty close to any V6 I've heard, any powerful V6, and it makes the car feel like a performance car, which it should. These are the top line models of each of these cars, so that's the way it should be. They should sound powerful and like a performance car. My only gripe is that it sounds a little too quiet on the Pessima, but overall this is a great sounding engine. Next we have the good old V8, and it's featured on the Burnside, the Barstow, and the Moonhawk. Well, it speaks for itself. This thing sounds awesome, it sounds powerful, it sounds like an old V8, and that's what it should be. My only wish was that the Burnside one sounded a little older, like not so much like 60s muscle car, but maybe something from the 50s. I don't know how that would happen, but it would be cool if it sounded a little bit older. Overall, well, have a listen. Well, there's also the newer V8. It's featured on the Grand Marshal, the D-Series, and the Vanster. This one also sounds very powerful. It sounds a bit newer, and the feedback of the engine is very good, I think. It fits the cars quite well, all of them really. Maybe it could sound a little bit less sporty on the Vanster or something, but other than that, this is a great sounding engine. The last engine is a weird one. It's a flat 4 that's only featured on the SBR4. Well, it sounds like it should. It sounds like a boxer engine, and it sounds pretty good as well. The exhaust noise is loud, and it should be. The car is very powerful, and it's very fast. Overall, I think the sound from both the inside and the outside is very good, and I think that's great for a unique sounding car. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with more content in the future. You can always subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of thing.